Whoops. I just jumped right in without the countdown. Let me get that countdown going here. All right, there he is. There we go. There's my professional entrance.
Woohoo!
All right, how you doing, Rory?
I'm good, my friend. You?
I'm okay. I got a new sound card. I switched one out just this morning because the other one was giving me trouble. And I think I haven't really got a full sense of this yet, but I think I might like it. I'm going to join you. Where's the code? How come nothing's coming out of me, Rory?
It's a special power, special ability of Coding Gorilla.
Yeah, something's going on there. All right, yesterday we made some actually amazing progress on this, right? I think my show was ultimately 5 hours yesterday.
Ooh, that's a long one.
5 hours long, yeah, it was a long one. But by the end of that thing, I think you left before we had actually seen the fruition of the efforts moving towards async. Is that true? Did you see that it was working or not?
I felt like we were pretty close, but maybe...
Okay. Well,
not sure. We were moving up through call stacks, applying async, returning tasks, making sure that we await on the outside for various things, and then stopping, I believe, at async void in event handlers.
Yeah, no, so let's show you where we are now. Right now, if I come in and I say, let's do a spell, like for example, chaos bolt like this, and I cast it. As long as these aren't doubles, the 2 8s, the 8 sides, it's a 1 and a 5, we'll get a question. And there it is right there. So it comes up, it's kind of, occluded by a bunch of stuff, but you can kind of come in and clear the dice. I don't know, maybe I should, that's like my message to bring it up to the next level. I don't know.
Maybe.
I thought the wild magic check should not have happened. I thought I put in some code to make sure that wasn't going to happen. At any rate, on my Stream Deck, once we're here, where's my Stream Deck? Buttons. There they are over there. Hold on, the wrong set of buttons is showing. Let's go over here and go back in. So I was here when I cast the spell. I can go up one level, and then I've added basically where the spells are, this answer button here. And if we go into there, the Dungeon Master has these buttons where they can go and choose it.
The buttons are somewhat hidden by the actual UI on the stream.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was like, what are you talking about? You can totally see the buttons, but it's these right here. I have
a good memory. I remember what the buttons look like.
There you go. It's those right there. And so I can move down, and I can move up, and I can hit the OK button. We were having a problem at the end of the show, which was how do we get these things to line up right here?
Okay.
And I think Coding Gorilla was with us, and he's just back again with us. I just want to show him what I did to fix that. It was down here. There it is right there. So we were trying to do some math to get to it, and then I realized, oh yeah, here, let me scroll down. There it is right there, so you can see it. This is the bug. This was the line that the bug was on. And I realized, wait, we're storing the center Ys of each of these entries, which is something I did, I think, also as well after you left, Rory. And so I was like, well, let's just get the data we already have instead of trying to calculate it and wondering why we can't quite get it. Because things always go a little weird when we're scaling and trying to find things. I've never really found this math to be easy. So at any rate, I can now choose what kind of damage I want, like, for example, acid damage, and then hit OK on the Stream Deck. So I'm going to hit this button right here. And that's kind of what it looks like.
Okay.
It's not bad. However, we last night in the show, we saw some issues. Let me cast, for example, enlarge reduce. Okay, and so I've got enlarge reduce cast, and now I want to cast spider climb. So I'm going to queue that up and cast it. And then it kind of gets a little weird. Okay?
Yeah.
It's a little weird because the amount of space, because we're stretching it to the right,
Yeah.
the amount of space that we have available to us on the right edge, on the right and left edges, because we're stretching it horizontally, that amount of space it's starting to look a little funky. And so what I want to do is I want to wrap.
That's what I was just thinking. You got to find an intelligent place to do the wrap, and then I presume the calculation on the width would then lead to it being stretched less.
So that's kind of what I want to do. I want to stretch it less, and I think I'm going to work on that first. So that's one way. Another way is to edit the text. But in general, when we're at an aspect ratio like this extreme, it doesn't look so good. If we had more choices and it was changing its aspect ratio, it would, I think, look a lot better. But that's what I think I'm going to do. Oh, who's coming in? Look out! That was a close one. Almost hit my head. By the way, this is one of my favorite features, little utility features. So the UI is up like here. Really? I'm trying to show something. You're just going to dump pudding on me?
You just cover the UI in pudding.
Man. Oh my gosh. Screenshot was saying, just randomly wrap at the center of the text. What could go wrong? Well, I think what I'm going to do is keep the left margin there, is what I think. But, I got to kind of figure that out. We actually wrote code to wrap text, I think. I was talking about this feature right here. I like this because I like the position of this here, but it blocks the player's face. So we added a button to kind of just drop it down like that. And then kind of gets it out of the way, but it still shows you something's going on. And we can pop it up. And when we do, it tells you the exact amount of time remaining on it. So I think that's kind of a cool little utilitarian feature there. Let me break. Also, I'm really happy with the. Let me break concentration with it. I'm really happy with this effect. Break concentration. I like that a lot.
That's pretty good, yeah.
So what also is very cool is in order to make all that happen, I'm actually hitting buttons on the Stream Deck. It's processing them, right? Even though we are still in, one of these modes where I can go up and down. So I'm feeling really good about that. The initial, I'll just hit yes, break that concentration. It's behaving better. What was I going to say? Well, you don't know, Rory, do you? I don't know what it was.
Obviously, it was going to be something complimentary about Karen, right? Failing all else.
If you keep hitting down to select a wrap back to the top option, I don't think it does. No, it doesn't. We wrote code yesterday to make it only go in that one direction. Could make it do that. What do you guys think?
Well, Dungeon Master's going to be the one using it, entering it up. It makes sense for a large list, certainly, because potentially 5 steps up rather than 1 down, if that's where you happen to be. Don't know. Good question, though.
So try to cast a large reduce route right now to demonstrate that when I hit down and then down again, nothing happens. And now if I hit up and then up again, nothing happens. Yeah, I guess I could do that. I don't think I'm going to do it, actually.
It's interesting. I've got a game I play which involves sort of the top-down kind of experience and placing things on the ground, and it involves the rotation of objects. And the way they've got the keys set up in this game is such that there's a rotate key, which rotates things clockwise, and if you really want, you can shift that same key and rotate back the other way. But because the 2 keys, it's so much more awkward. I don't believe anybody actually does that, and they actively rotate 3 more times to go back to where they were.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there isn't a similar effect with down, 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 down. I want to go up, but I'd rather just go down and cycle through to get to where that is. I don't know, though.
Well, I actually am thinking I don't want it to do it. And the reason I decided that just now is because there's a little bit of latency between the time I hit the button and the time I see the move. In part because of the ease transition. There's also no audio feedback yet, so we really need the audio feedback immediately, to come in. And with the audio feedback, maybe I would do it. But remember, what's happening is this can be operated anywhere in the world. So when we hit this button on the Stream Deck, it's putting a chat command into a special dedicated Twitch channel. Chat, not the main one. And then the app here is listening for that. When the notification comes in, getting it, then sending a signal R signal down to display it. So we've between the remote access and the latency, kind of to some degree, on the ease movement. My concern is if I have multiples and I go 1, 2, 3 to move it down, I might wrap all the way around, and then now I've got
the lag.
Yeah, it's
that is potentially there will cause you to overthink. Did it receive my command? I know I'll press it again. And this way round, no matter how many downs you do, you can kind of hit that hard bottom, that last option, and then if necessary, go back a known quantity.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. It's kind of like having a menu at the top of the monitor. It's like, it looks like the target is this big, but it's really this big plus an infinite amount in this direction, because you can just move the mouse there and you've got this kind of buffer, right? Right, and it's the same thing here. I'm thinking, at least for now, here's the thing. It's an super easy change to make. It's the code to do this. Here, let me just hit OK, so we drop this down. The code to do this is right here. So right now we're just checking to see, hey, are we less than the end point? And if we are, go ahead and do this. But we could also do something different that says if we're greater than it and we're moving down, that means we go back up and say focus index is back to 0 is what we could do. So these are the two methods if we wanted to add wraparound. This is what we would change.
Of the two ease of use potential scenarios, the one we mentioned about wrapping round to be useful and not have to go back up, and the one that you mentioned regarding the lag, I think yours is the more valid point. I think yours is the one that's going to be hit more often and actually prove useful to have that hard top.
Yeah. We could also make it an option where we can, set it here programmatically. I'm just going to throw a little to do in here to support wraparound, modify, move down, and move up. All right, like that. Okay. All right, so let's think about wrapping. I said earlier we wrote this somewhere else. We wrote the wrapping code. Here, let's bring up one of the little cutie spells here. Our wrapping code is here. So we actually wrote this inside of the spell display, whatever, the spellbook class. What's really this code actually, we did a pretty good job on this.
It does look good.
Right, including the ability to do, bulleted items, bolded items.
Embedded image, text that goes around an image.
Yeah, well, the embedded image is a little bit of a cheat because the text up at the top is a cheat. That's not actually all coming. We know what those properties are, and we're kind of setting them in there. But down here, once we says you can either just create or destroy water from that point down, this code is pretty good in terms of what it can do. I don't know. Maybe we should take a look at that.
Okay.
I was hesitant. I'm always hesitant to do this because I'm thinking, that refactoring is never really super fun to watch. I think unless it's totally planned out and you know it. You know what you're going to do, and then you can come up with a cool demo. But let's just look at Spellbook and just see. Spellbook class is there. Search for the word wrap. Yeah, already. Look at this. Oh, yeah. I'm remembering this stuff. We needed, in order to wrap efficiently, we needed to collect a bunch of data at the beginning. Get word wrapped lines for paragraphs. So we pass in a context, some text, and a maximum width. I'm thinking about taking it. Is what I'm thinking about taking it. I think I'm gonna maybe play in the space. What the spellbook does, by the way, is it actually comes in and checks a couple things out. This should be constants, I bet, right? Yeah. It's it tries to wrap it once, and it checks to see what the aspect ratio and the height of it is. And if it's too big, then it makes it fatter. And then it says, okay, let's wrap again using this new size. Now, the thing is here is when we call get word wrap lines, I'm pretty sure the reason we're passing the context is because the font's already been set inside of there. Look at this. Is that what you want? Yeah, I think that's what you want. Yeah. Okay. There's bullet, indent, line width. And we need a let. And we need another equals. What is this? Never reassigned. Huh. I think this was a diagnostic. I just realized it would be a really good practice for any diagnostic variables to actually include the word diagnostic in that variable name.
That's a good idea, yeah. That helps you come back and realize exactly what the nature of this was, sort of outside of the scope of the actual function.
Yeah. So we don't need this. I'm gonna kill that for there now and kill that there. Okay. Trivially inferred. This looks like, is it a constant? Delimiter start index, yeah, that's a constant. Just cleaning up the code. Getting better. Constant. Well, let's check to see if any styles are left hanging and need closure. Line wrap data. Okay, and return the lines. So get word wrap lines. Just want to go through context, yeah. So context just needs the font size in advance. I need to take this out of spellbook. I think is what I need to do. Let's, how are we going to do this? I need to see the pages. Like, for example, index. Uses does this use spellbook as well? It does. So that's the back overlay. Does the front overlay use spellbook? It does. Okay. So what I'm going to do, instead of creating a new class right now, because creating a new class kind of really interrupts the show, because we have to do a rebuild over here. To do a rebuild, we got to shut down things that are streams and overlays support that's actually running right now. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to create a new class up here called just cleaning stuff up. And it is cool. We have things up here. Yeah, I'm liking this. It's cool that we have other classes up here that can be used in this, right? The fact that we've got table up here Wait, get column by index. It's going to be a number. Right? What's column? Maybe I'm wrong.
I think maybe it might be an
column?
object. Yeah.
What's this guy? Spell was used before it was defined. Okay. So we got a few problems. We've got like this table class has a reference to table cell horizontal margin. What is that? I'm going to change this up. I'm going to move this to up in here to table for now at least. And change this to table. Search for this. Is that it? Let me just double check out. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's it. This looks like a constant. Okay, just kind of working my way down here. All right, so there's table. Let's go search for spellbook. See where we hit it. Okay, good. So the first time we find it, double check that spell box. I want book. Yeah, it looks like the first time we find it is there. Okay, so now everything, like everything above spellbook, is really about text and wrapping lines.
Yes.
Right? Everything up here, I'm just going to give me some more white space here, which is good. I want to clean it up. My intention is to reuse this code and to help me wrap the lines. That's my intention.
It seems pretty reasonable. I'm interested that those two constants that you effectively moved into table from spellbook might not be the same values you want to use for all forms of wrapping. So they might need to be passed in as parameters ultimately.
Yeah, no, I think it's a totally fair statement.
But they're good defaults for now, if nothing else.
Well, no, I was thinking yes, yes to all of that. That was like a kind of a thinking. That's a later thing to do, is what I'm thinking. So yeah, I definitely considered that. I think it's a great observation. Just so everybody knows what we're talking about. It's this part right here, and I've definitely, by the way, wanted to do this. I wanted, since we're already in the class table, I just wanted to say cell horizontal margin. Well, we can just take off the read only, I suppose. Does that make sense? No, it really should be a parameter. It should be a parameter. Look at this. Calculate width is here. The problem is we can't do it as a parameter because we're accessing width from here. So it would have to be. We could make this be a default and create a constructor on the table, I suppose, that accepted that. It's already taking an ID. So we could pass in new table that width. I kind of like that. Let's do that. That'll be our fix for now. So it's going to be our default cell horizontal margin. Or do I now want to undo this and put it back, cell horizontal margin? Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to do it now. But that's how we would do it. I'll just say, I'm going to throw a to-do in here. Consider making this a parameter to the table. And instead of saying this, one of my best practices is doing that instead. Because sometimes I'll start, adding new things without looking at that, or the code will automatically generate that. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, I think I've got a comment that's no longer attached to this piece of code right here. Okay. Add formatting support for cells. Yeah, I do like this. This is good. I think this is a good approach so far. Line wrap data. Let's look at what's in line wrap data. It's got a line. It's got some spans. That looks good. Where are my spans? Okay. They're right here, up near the top. Is that right? Yeah, they're up near the top. Spans is start offset and a style, layout style. Normal, bold, italic, and calculated. This special style the spellbook uses to show something in like a red font. So that's good. By the way, how's the sound out there? Putting in Gorilla and Design Patterns, Screech Rat. Let me know how sound quality is. I'm presuming it must be okay because we haven't heard anything. I'm using a new sound card. I replaced one of my sound cards and I got another one I'm about to replace if this all goes well. And it feels like it's going well. I think the other sound cards I got were not good.
Feels pretty good from what I can see here.
Yeah. Yeah, Pudding says it's fine for him. Sounds fine.
And I think we're also fairly consistent with our levels as well.
All right, that's good. I don't like how the water feels so high. Does anybody get bothered by anybody else? It's a little...
I feel like I need to hold a glass out just to catch some of that falling ice.
Just a little bit of ice. Got it right there, I think. I could make more ice cubes fly out in that. Just have them fly right to me. And if I timed everything right, it would sound like, and I moved this. Yeah, it would sound like they were coming in.
That'd be good.
Okay. Yeah, we actually did some good work here. You know, I'll tell you, when I hesitated, Rory, before I showed the spell book. I was like, oh, do I really want to do this, or do I just want to write something new? You know, because I was thinking, you know, the spell book I thought it was going to be pain, but I'm going in here and I'm actually really liking kind of the granularity of the classes here.
Good decoupling going on there. There's little, if anything, that links the wrapping itself with the spellbook.
Yeah, no, that
makes it nice to pull out for our new purpose. But I know what you mean. You're sort of thinking back and thinking, did we do a good job of that? Did we, you know, what was our quality level on that day?
It wasn't bad. I think that the fact that we put the method inside of the spellbook, that was kind of maybe a mistake. A wiser approach would have realized, oh, that's not really, it should be in the spellbook. We should build this for reuse, and therefore it should be another class. But it's not bad. By the way, I really like this use of the embedded images from CodeRush in here to kind of show and explain what's happening here. What we're doing, the spell header height, right? It's this piece right here. Okay, what was it? Get word wrap lines. I think it was something like that. Get word wrap lines. So this is what my bullet indent. Style delimiters. I'm just looking at where's my spell book. You know, where are the bindings in here? Where's the connection? So style delimiters. This is an array of layout delimiters. So that feels like it's going to be what is going on with this? In pair, need to close. So this is something that I am building. Calculated. Oh, I see. This is so that I can parse it. Right? So what's happening is I'm saying, look for the begin delimiter here, the start delimiter here. This is what the end delimiter is. And when you find it, this is what the style is going to be. And what's this? The font Y offset. Oh yeah, this allows you to change the font size. So what happens is if I see these delimiters, it becomes a now calculated layout, which is going to make it red and bold, I think, but also it's going to change the Y offset by a certain amount. So these are the style delimiters for how we're going to parse this. So they definitely...
Sort of a markdown kind of theory.
Yeah, and so we definitely need to pass them in. All right, so that's got to be a parameter. So let's go get its type. Let's do that. Then we're going to add this to the end, I think. Let's say style delimiters. And down in here, we're going to clear that. There's another one right there. There's that one. Oh, yeah, I'm liking this. I'm liking this. I'm liking this. All right, back up. Get style delimiters. This needs to move. All right. Let me put a marker here. Let's start creating our class here. Maybe I'm not going to throw it up at the top. I want it down below here. So right here, we're going to create a new class called the wrapper, the word wrapper, text wrapper, word wrapper, helper, word wrapper. That's what I think I'm going to do. Okay, let's go back over here. Get style delimiters. This is also similarly going to need to, whoops, I want to do this, something like that. And like that. Yeah, I actually kind of like what's happening here. You know, I said usually refactoring isn't fun to watch, but I actually think this is going to be good because we don't have really bad code, is what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? It's not like super painful. It's actually pretty good.
You can see the improvement actually coming along, and you don't have to have a huge amount of it happen to see these details become better.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. So I'm liking that, and we're going to actually see significant improvements to spellbook here coming in as well. Looks like these are some consts here. That looks like a const. That looks like a const. Const. Got a double equals when it should be a triple. You know, we're so much better than when we started. Do you know that, Rory? When we started,
this is true.
We were like, what's TypeScript?
That's true.
That's not.
Some of you guys in the chat room have been with us since the start, but some have not. And we did start out in TypeScript. Sorry, in JavaScript.
Yeah.
With nothing, essentially.
Yeah.
We really didn't. I mean, we've brought very few external libraries of any kind in. Assets have been built from pieces here and there, and particle systems and drones, and it's great fun.
Design Pattern asks, do you find that putting too many to-do comments can make future changes in refactoring more difficult? No, I don't find that at all. I actually, with this show, with the code that we're writing here, a lot of times I'm writing to-dos for everybody who's watching, basically to say, here's what we would do in a normal situation, right? And so I'll you know, when I say normal situation, I mean, if we were on a team, if this product was something we were selling,
sure.
That sort of thing. And I actually like it. I like actually finding those to-dos when I come back, especially sometimes, Rory, we've even been like, oh, we have to do this. Let's go figure out what the change is. We go to make the changes. As we go to make the change, we see the to-do comment that says, if you want to make this change, right? So that's actually happened at least once.
It is kind of this note to self. When you attempt this, be sure to do X. I haven't got the time right now, but when you're back here, future me, you know, consider this.
Yeah.
It's nice as well because I think to-do comments, they tend to be about a certain sized thing. It's anything under a certain size, well, we just do it, right? But above a certain size, it's like that might distract us from our core purpose, but we don't want to forget about this. So it's left as a note to self again.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, and it also kind of is like, for me, it's kind of like, you know, oh, imagine it as if I had done this, right? And it's kind of like, you know, on the old cooking shows where they'd say, here's what we're going to make. And then they put it, you know, and then they put it in the oven, they take something out of another oven, and here it is, something like that.
Yep.
This guy Funk says, I love to do, I typically forget my thought by the time I'm done writing something, so it's good to have a reference. Yeah, I'm like, I'm in agreement with that as well. So Design Pattern comes back with, I find that they are often indicators of problematic architecture and code such that they often lead to technical debt increasing over time, such that rarely it gets reduced because there's so much. Well, Design Patterns, are you working in a team, and is somebody else creating these, or these you're talking about the ones you're creating? I guess it's more about volume. Yeah, I've not encountered that, And I guess if I was working on a team and somebody else was just putting these all over the place, then yeah, I would consider them distracting and make it hard, and they would make it harder to maintain the code. But I don't actually think that our ratio of to-do comments to lines of code is probably about 1 to 100 is what I think. So I got 99 lines of code that I can read without a to-do. It's maybe even 1 to 200. So I am not there at a point where I'm finding them, getting in the way yet.
I think it is very much a case of how big a thing you're talking about. We would never to-do must change this variable name at some point in the future. That's a thing you just do.
Yeah.
But again, we have the advantage of there aren't multiple people whose code we're going to break by doing that here. This is a single point of entry, single point of use, more or less. So we have a certain advantage there.
Yeah. Design Pattern says, too bad you can't see the oldest shows. I actually think you can. I think I've uploaded all of them to YouTube.
Yeah, I'm just searching for that now.
Yeah, it's not something I did a lot of publishing on. So it's not like I said, here, take a look at this, but I am archiving these, as many of these as I can out there. Looks like that just popped up right there. You can see what I'm working on. That's for Lassamats. I brought that up this morning.
So I found a channel.
You found it?
A channel. Let's see what there is. Where we got. Is that what you're looking for?
Let's see.
In the chat room?
Yep, that's totally it right there. So a bunch of these are uploaded. So you can go back if you really want to. Where is I guess I click on videos right here. How far back do they go?
Scrolling myself. I've got as early as 160 so far, 130, 101. Hey, I think we've got practically all of them. Episode 0, building a side-scroller platform. We might get back to that one day.
No. So this is not great. You know what we're doing? I guess is what we weren't great back here, right? Here's when Brendan helped us out with Signal R. That was awesome, Dave.
Yeah.
He sure showed up and helped us out. Yeah. So you're basically, if you want to see somebody learn, look at this. This is my my wedding video I played for everybody. I do like what I find is interesting is that the suggested preview is they're trying to find the most dynamic part. So look, Codebase Alphas. So this is YouTube's algorithm. They're looking for the most dynamic changes, right? So that's what they're doing. So if you hover over, you can see, oh, the most exciting thing here was like Surly Dev coming in or something like that, right? Whatever that is, or the countdown.
Well, we should have some explosives on some of these, right?
Yeah. Not all of them are up. There's a few missing episodes that didn't get uploaded, but there is that's it right there. So there's your channel. If you really want to, I don't see how that would be interesting to most people, but at any rate, there was like a few really good shows. I think our show, we did shows on design patterns. I think those went really well. Do you remember that, Rory? We were like
we had some command patterns going on. Stuff like that.
Composite, flywheel. Yeah, it was. We did some good work, and we created some really cool UI stuff with that too. That's when we were working with the map. Humble beginnings. Yeah. So anyway, but that's it. It's all up there.
Humble present.
All right, let's go back and figure out what we're doing here. Where were we? I'm just going to hit escape here. So get style delimiters. I'm going to now move this over to our word wrapper. Get style delimiters. I think that's fair. Cut this from here and go to our word wrapper and pop it in there. This, I want it to be static though. And public. And I think that's good. So there's...
I just realized, Mark, the YouTube channel is our definitive answer to when did we start this? Yes. There's been some debate over exactly when. It looks like it was the 31st of July, 2018.
Wow. That's impressive.
That's the date on episode 0 anyway.
Well, cool. That's probably when it was uploaded, so it was around that time. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Okay, what else is next? Get spell description. That's not where I want to be. I want to be in get word wrap or something like that. Get word wrap lines. This is the one I want to look at. Okay, what else? Any spell books in here? I got a bullet indent. Oh, and I still got one more style delimiters. I thought I got rid of all those. All right, let's get rid of that. Style delimiters. Okay, also let's make sure we're passing that in. Spellbook dot style delimiters. Okay. Copy that just in case I got a second one of these calls to get word wrap lines. Okay. There's another one. Any others? That looks like that's it. Okay. Spellbook is there. Let's just search for spellbook here. And I would love it, really love it. Looks like that was it. All right, let's add the one more parameter. Bullet indent. Put it there. And pass it in here. I think I'm going to actually have to take these and move them out as well, because these functions here that I've been just going through, I think those are going to make it. They're going to move it up as well.
Sure, yeah.
We'll see what happens. All right, it looks like that's it. Okay, so now we're passing the bullet indent in. Let's see what else is inside here that we need. Yeah, I think that was it. Now, I think it was didn't finish this, but what I really would like sometimes is a way to highlight field variables inside of a method. Is this a CodeRush feature?
Maybe.
The issues start, I just put out in the chat window. It should indicate that, yeah, I'm going to do that. Guys, I want a new feature, and I'm not sure how to get it. I think I know. Wait a minute. I think I know maybe a way to do it. I think I want something that allows me to click on this and show field variables or highlight them in a certain way, right? Anything, in other words, when I want to take something and find out if I can make it static or not, it's not always easy to figure out whether I can make it static. And so I'm kind of looking for that as a feature. That's kind of my idea, my question. Feature request, show static, show field variables. I'm looking for a feature like that, I think. I don't know. Not terribly high priority, but something I'm thinking about. Okay. Did I not send that? Oh, no, wait, I did. Okay. Okay. I can search for, I just realized here, though, I can search for the word this, dot.
Yeah. Did you just type that in? There was a comment there with a very strangely... Oh, no, don't worry. It's just part of a variable name that's commented out. It's legit, though.
I've got one this set active style, but I bet that's going to, based on its name, I bet that's going to move to the word wrapper. And what else do I have? Let's see if I have another one in here. I don't. Cool. So the only one I have is set active style. Let's go look at set active style. Here it is right here. This dot active style. Oh, that's definitely going to be an instance of the word wrapper. Set detail normal font. That's going to be there too, I think. Oh, yeah. That's what I think. Should remember set docs to style. Oh, I got a problem right here. Oh, okay. I see what the problem was. That was me. All right, set active style. Sorry, just cleaning some of this stuff up. Let's go back to that. Yeah, we definitely want to put this in here. Is what we want to do. All right, so I'm going to get... All right, let's go back. Let's go back to get word wrap line. So we're going to take this now, and we're going to move it up. Where's our word wrapper? Thought I'd put it down. Oh, I put it here. I didn't want it up here. I want to put it at the end of all of this. This is going to be public. And let's cut this, move it down below table right here. Okay. All right, let's look at our problems. We've got a missing set active style. Let's go find that. By the way I got to that so quickly, so I select this, hit the key to jump to symbol. Because it's selected, it's already there, and I just hit enter. So that's how I quickly got to it. Even though otherwise I could not have gotten to it, right? There's no way I could jump to this definition because it's not here, right? So 1, 2, and I'm there. All right, so now I think I'm just going to cut this, and we're going to just kind of let the ripple effect and follow the errors is what we're going to do on this in both sides of this.
Fair enough.
And I'm going to need to create a new instance of the word wrapper class as well. So I'm going to do the same trick right here. I'm just going to select that, jump to it. That's the one I want right there, layout style. I'm going to now take that and cut it and bring it back up. So again, we're going to use our errors to just to guide us on this. Okay, set detail font bold. Oh, you bet I'm going to want that one. Go get to that. All of these. Set title font. Not sure about that. Do we have a sense of what the title is? I don't know if we do or not, but I am going to do this.
Tricky one. I mean, abstractly, wrapping text is wrapping text, but not every form of wrap text has a title, a body, and maybe a footer or whatever. So it may not be a universal thing.
Yeah, and I think I'm not interpreting this. Here, let's pop these in right here. We're going to need the detail font size and the font name. This is for the detail. This is the text of the body text is essentially what this is. Using that all over the place. It's a constant. Interesting. So we're never changing that body text. I think I'm thinking about passing it in. Is what I'm thinking about doing.
Okay.
Set detail font, normal. And I'm also thinking about making both of these be... I'm actually leaning in this direction right now. So this is going to be our detail font size, and we're going to say that's equal to 18, like that. And I'm going to change this.
So, a question for the design pattern people out there. Is it still referred to as a builder if the object it's building was passed in the first place, rather than emitted from the object?
I would call it a cloner, is what I would call it.
Because you're taking a context in, and then you're applying a change to it.
But are you cloning it or no? You're creating a new instance or not?
In your case, you're not actually making a new context here, are you? You're receiving it in each method call, and
right.
If we didn't have a term decorator, which meant something else, I might otherwise describe it as that. A decorator is a kind of a wrapper mechanic. It's not quite the same.
Yeah. I'm going to throw this here for now. Let's go search actually for detail font name.
Coding Gorilla says, I would call that a transformer myself. Maybe Bumblebee.
Mrs. Eves is the detail font name that we're using from here. Good, and there are no references to that. Good. What I want to do in my constructors, I think I want to put these both in my constructor for my word wrapper. Or not. Because when we wrap, there's actually two kinds of things going on. One is there's a wrapping, and then there's another of kind of, coloring it in, drawing it. Those are both in there. I've also got text color. Let's kind of keep going down here for a second. Yeah, text color. Are we using this at all in here? Okay, we are. Okay, so we'll be coming back to that. Yeah, so now I'm almost wondering if it makes sense to take my word wrapper and my word drawer and create two different classes.
Kind of a styler almost, isn't it?
Yeah. It's I'm gonna try it.
It is certainly breaking out of the sort of the otherwise very clear definition that a word wrapper would have.
Yeah. So the wrapper's still going to have the font size and the font name. I want to rename these. I'm going to throw a to-do on this right here. Rename. I'm not doing it now because I want to make sure everything compiles and we've gotten everything. We've moved everything across. But I basically want to say rename detail to body. I'm okay with calling it detail in the spell book, but here in the word wrapper, I want to call it body font size, body font name, that sort of thing. Or maybe just font size and font name. That may be all we really need. This 700 is the weight, I think is what the 700 means. I'm forgetting.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah. Your weight, font, size, and name. That's about all you can say about a font, isn't it, at that point?
Yeah. So here's this emphasis font size increase. Let's go jump to that. Is that used anywhere else? Not used anywhere else. Okay. So I'm going to, I'll come in here and we'll declare this as well. And I think it was set to a 3. Like that. Okay. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this. Comments that are kind of like old code. This is another thing I do that if I look at it and I don't quite get it, or if it looks like, I'm just like, all right, it's gone. It's not really serving me at all. So I'll delete old comments like that. I find that actually tends to work out pretty well. All right. So set active style is not here. Set active style has to move. That's what it has to do. So my word renderer would seem to have a reference to a word wrapper is what it appears to be. I was trying to figure out how do we do this now that we break this down? Does one class have a reference to both? But I think the word renderer has a reference to a word wrapper.
Okay.
That's what I think. Shamir Black is saying images and code, weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's very few IDEs will do that for you. Very few products will provide that. CodeRush, in this case, as Coding Gorilla points out, is exactly what's doing that for us. Very useful indeed. Mark, didn't you say that we were providing something similar to VS Code, or are we endeavoring to? I forget which stage that had reached.
Wait, say that again, Roy?
Did we put out an extension for VS Code that did the images?
No, we've not done it in VS Code yet. We're running into technical challenges with that problem. With that, and
okay. Well, that's right. We were trying to, and there was a thing we were trying to get fixed, but they decided to go another way, didn't they?
They did. Yes, they did. So that happened.
Well.
And I got a little bit of like, they didn't. I don't agree with the choice. But it's not. Obviously, they're entitled to make their own choices for their own, reasons, things like that. I guess actually for them it did make sense, but for the greater good or being able to do really cool things, I think it's fair to say, right? This experience of creating something really beautiful and then having to kind of destroy it or let go of it because the host environment doesn't agree with your priorities on it, is kind of, if anything, one of the minor downsides to doing what I'm doing, right? That it's that plus them. The other thing that really bugs me is when they create something half as good, but where they didn't have before, and then now that's standard for everybody, and it's just like now it's a setback. Like the previews in the refactoring previews in Visual Studio are, arguably almost worse than not having them at all. They're pretty bad in terms of visually how they convey the sense of what's there, and compare those with the previews we had for our refactorings back in Coders Classic, which were gorgeous and totally told you what was going to happen.
There was never any doubt, was there?
Yeah, so the host environment actively hates you and wants you gone. I don't think so. I hope that's not true.
No, I really hope not.
Yeah. By the way, Coding Gorilla said I would call that a transformer myself. Maybe Bumblebee. He was referring to your question before about what would you call it. What were you going to say, Rory?
No, I was just agreeing. Just agreeing with you.
What are we talking about? Watch them on 2x speed. It shouldn't take too long. We're talking about those shows out there?
That's all the back shows. Yeah, I was trying to work out, is there a way to determine how many hours of footage there are on a given channel? I've not found anything yet, but it occurs to me that I'm around for sort of an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on the day, and I've been on most of these. Then you went to 4 days a week, and I don't do the Friday, but Mark pushes forward, and it's just an unknowable quantity for any given show, how long he's going to run for. And at which point, that's a lot of hours of video. 2 times may not be enough to get through it.
The speed, you mean?
Yeah.
2 times speed, yeah.
Because we've got, a year's worth even of that.
That doesn't make sense to me, Coding Gorilla.
Wow.
That's absolutely, I don't think that's their widespread belief. I would disagree with that. But there is kind of a I would describe it as mildly adversarial relationship is what I would describe it as. How much time's left on my spider climb? Okay, 11.8 minutes. So yeah, that's kind of how I would describe that. I think it's mildly adversarial to some degree. But it's also incredibly helpful too, right? There's both sides that are going on there, right? Now, I believe you're saying that's true. I'm just saying, I'm not sure that's the widespread mindset on the team.
I think that's a fair comment. Yeah.
All right, back over here to work.
Indeed.
We're talking
back
about
to the code.
Active style. I think. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I said back to the code.
Okay, let's get back to the code. Okay, so my intuition is saying, all right, set active style is not here. Set active style is going instead over to something that cares about the color. I think, and rendering it. So I'm going to throw this here. And well, or maybe we're just going to pass the renderer in to where set active style is needed. Oh, look at this, all of these. Maybe we consider font size as the same thing. Font size is important for wrapping, but not at all for render. But I'm sorry, for rendering as well. But I'm wondering if I move all of these up too. That's what I'm thinking about right now. Let's maybe do that. I wasn't thinking they were going to go up at first, but now I'm going to do it. That means we're going to pass in a renderer. Do I have active style? Here's active style here, not used at all there. That's a good sign. So we'll throw that here. I'm going to take those detail pieces and move them as well. Whoops, including that to-do comment. Move that up here. So maybe Word Wrapper accepts a renderer is what it does. That's what I'm thinking it does. We're going to pass in a word render. So maybe these are just not owned or they're totally unrelated. You just got to create 2 instances of them. Is what I think we have to do. All right, so let's do that. Let's pass in a renderer. Forget word wrap lines.
So our strategy when wrapping, is that to measure the text and to try and break it along certain points, or are we counting characters?
No, we're measuring the text.
Okay.
For sure.
So in order to do that, we very much need to have that text being rendered, as in, you've got to know that not only are there 8 characters, but there are 8 characters in this font at this size, because otherwise your measurements are kind of irrelevant.
No, you're right. But we're not really rendering them. We're just setting the context. Wait, not there. We're setting the context font here, and then we're just calling measure text on it is what's happening. All right, so text color, we need that. Let's go find out. Well, actually, let's just make it. Just going to duplicate this line, paste, and then we're going to say this text color is going to be black. My emphasis color, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to support emphasis in the renderer. So we'll duplicate this, and the emphasis is going to be about 80. So that's a dark red. Okay, we'll keep that for that. But we'll also be able to set and change these when we create a word renderer, which I think I'm going to do right now. Let's go down to the spell book and pass all these constants. And we're going to say something like this equals new word renderer. And I want some sort of initialization. Now, here's my constructor. I'm going to put it early. I'm going to say this dot initialize word helpers, maybe word break helpers, word wrap helpers, like that.
Yep.
Zia Dalagi is now following. Thanks so much for that follow, Zia. Okay. We'll create a new instance of that. I want to bring that way down here. I like to put my initialization functions right after my constructor. Whoops. Fred's waving. Back to the code. It says pudding. Word renderer is equal to new word renderer. And then let's set the properties of it. I already constructed a new instance of this, didn't I? Up there.
Yeah.
I'm going to maybe not do it there. All right. Active style is equal to this. Do I have an active style here? Actually, maybe active style is not what I need it to be. I don't need to set that one. What else do I have? Detail font name is equal to...
I like trash.
Felt a little gratuitous.
Was that like Grover? Was that like Grover right there?
Briefly.
Silly Dev just said add some pumpkins, but I think we've got some in code that says if we're in the middle of playing one, it's not just going to come out immediately until a little bit of time has passed. Silly Dev is in the house. Hello? I feel like if I put one thing out, it'll play. There it is. Add some little pumpkins? There you go.
He's in the house.
I think there's like a 30-second, you know, there's some kind of time thing going on. I forget what it is. All right, so the detail font name, I'm going to see if I got, it's still here. I don't see it. Let me go look for it. I think it said EMS on it. No. It was up near the top of the word wrapper. Here it is, Mrs. Eves. Detail font name. Oh, I know why, because I'm looking off of this. It's not this. It's spellbook dot detail font name. Good. And then let's go down here. I want to see if that's reproducible. Okay, look at this. That's weird. All right, code rush issue. All right, I'm on this line of code here, and I'm about to duplicate it. And watch what happens. Why does it give me the dot as something? Is it because of this setup right here? I don't even know why it would give me the dot as a field. That's what I'm looking at right there. Interesting. Okay, that's it. Let me come down here. Smart duplicate line gives me a dot. Or what's the dot in a text field? All right, we're dog food and code rich kids, looking for bugs.
We are indeed.
Looking for. Wait, it barely causes GPU to blip these days. Even when I stress it with my fleet of drones, yeah, it's like my GPU is like. Is that all you got, Surly?
Yep. Surly just not bringing enough drones to cause issues.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's putting no effort in at all.
Yeah, really. Emphasis color. Are those the same? Are those all matching? Oh, look at that. I like that. What else? Emphasis font size increase. All those are matching. Sweet. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, so now I got my word renderer. And I also need to get a word wrapper built in here. Here's my word wrapper. Let's put it here. Like that. Let's come in here. Word wrapper is equal to new word wrapper. Yeah. I'll say this too, Rory. I am generally not a huge fan of burdening the client with having to do this kind of a thing where you have to do, okay, you have to create this class and this is how they work together. So this is like the first time I really done this. Usually I'll create a wrapper for all of this so that it's much easier to create client code. And when I say client code, I'm talking about, look, we're creating an engine and I want to be able to use that engine from multiple places. Well, when I use it from multiple places, it should be incredibly easy to use. That's kind of what's going on there.
We don't do a lot of coding like that, but we have a dependency injection tends to get used a lot. So what happens is the constructor of one object declares that it needs an instance of several others, and as that top level object is created, it is requested from the dependency injection framework, and as it is produced, it is given one of those. So the person requesting that top level object rarely has to do the populating.
Yeah.
But it does rely on the pattern being repeatable all the time. So you're always going to want to give the same object or sub-objects to that parent object.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, hold on. I'm searching for get word wrap lines. Whoops, there was one right there. So here I want to change it to this dot word wrapper. Okay, get word wrap lines. And I bet it needs the renderer now, doesn't it? Word renderer. Okay. All right. Where else are we seeing that? Actually, let's go back a second because I think we're seeing it more than once. I just want to copy that so I don't type that in. Okay. And do we need the renderer at the end again? Mr. Smoothie.
Hello, Mr. Smoothie.
How you doing, Mr. Smoothie? Let's see what else we got. Okay, I think that's it. That's good. The word renderer, we need to use this inside here. So right here, we're going to change it to that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And all word renderer is going to do is it's going in, it's going to modify context. You were kind of commenting on that earlier. It's going to modify the context. To be clear, this text color thing isn't really something we need to do inside of here for the word wrapping. We could arguably create two different methods here to make it more efficient. Because you could argue that, well, look, if we're wrapping, do we really want to do this, call this every single time? That sort of thing. So, plural is still Lego. Don't step on them. Yeah, you don't want to step on the Lego. Careful with those
That is
Legos.
painful. That is very painful.
Yeah. Because they're so well designed. All right, I'll DM it. Wait, what are you DMing? DMing? Don't code. You guys are talking to each other. Okay, good. I don't have to worry about that. Okay, good. Learn something new every day. All right. So I'm considering taking out the fill styles and putting them in a different method. But I'm going to do that later. So I'm going to say to do, consider splitting between setting sizes and fill style. Okay. Let's look out. Look for our errors. I'm just going to page down until I see some. Here we go. Set detail font normal. This should be in the word renderer, I think. Is that right? Yep. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe let's search for set detail font. Let me copy this to the clipboard. But we're going to search for set detail font. Detail font bold. Wait, why do we still have this here? You can't navigate to it. No suggestions, but also no error.
Somewhat of a contradiction. Contradiction.
Okay, now we're getting the errors. Wait. Private. Not anymore.
And I'm guessing the ones beneath it are also going to need to be public since that's primary functionality on this new class.
All right. Much better.
That's better.
Okay, get spell level school width. All right, that I think is all good. Yeah, so we're basically saying what it's going to take to put this text up here. This is kind of wrapped at a different level here. Let me just make these const. That's also constant. What? Oh, I guess this is for readability that I added it. Just so I see what's happening here. Cast at level stir. Or maybe it's old code too. I'm not going to worry about it for now. Just going to kind of continue to go down here. Roy, you're telling me there's a shortcut for going to my next error? No
F8.
Errors. What? What'd you say, Rory?
Usually it's F8. If there's a list of some kind in Studio, F8 goes to the next item, having at least double-clicked one of them to sort of focus on that list. But this is a ESLint that you're using, so it's not actually errors per se. There might be a toolbar to actually produce a list of them, but I'm not certain of that.
No, I'm talking about these right here. I want to go to these, but there were none before. I think it's because I'd made some changes. Now we got a whole bunch of them. Okay, so let's just go keep running down here. And let's do this as well. Get rid of these squigglies. It looks like it's constant. Sorry, that should be constant too. Okay, that method's looking better. Active style, I think that's going to be in word renderer again. Yep. Oops. Jumped up font size here.
I used to wonder what caused that. I believe it is I was hitting the control key and then accidentally the wheel mouse just sort of resolved slightly better than it was. It was perhaps unstable.
Yeah.
And as a result, you effectively zoom in just fractionally or out to that matter.
Yeah. That's what I did. All right, here we go. So detail font normal. I think that's also there.
Conan Gorilla's got his next error warning bound to F2. I bound that to rename.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing with that. Yeah, I actually am. I'm pretty happy with this code. In what I'm seeing now, you know, reviewing this, it was, you know, we actually did something that was pretty challenging. Okay, well, what's here? We got this dot renderer const. Yeah, so we're setting this in the renderer. We're setting the font. Then we're calling well, we're calling wrap detail lines. I think that's gonna be our next thing that we're gonna move over. I think. Well, maybe not. Let's see. This may be very specific. Wait, what? Oh, we're actually drawing them. We're actually rendering these. It should be. We're gonna rename this. No, I can't rename this yet. It's always a bad idea to rename while you're doing this. I'm gonna say rename wrap to render. Okay, keep going, stay focused. Trivially infer that. Does trivial infer? Nope, just const. What's this? Unexpected aliasing. Do I not need this anymore? I'm not sure about this. Coding Gorilla, you might know the answer to this.
I'm inclined to think you... Well, yeah. Well, no, you do need it there, but we could change the function brackets to a lambda, and then you wouldn't.
That's what it is. So it is...
So delete the function, and then equals angle, and I think that's it.
And now I can
So
see
now
this.
self and this are identical, and you can remove the self. That's my theory.
I think you're absolutely right. I'm a little nervous about that change right there. To be honest, if I had everything else working right now, I'd be like, okay, good, let's run it. Let's try it. But because I don't have anything else, I'm really wary of making any functional changes. I want to be super disciplined as I go through here. And only make changes that I know are very safe. Okay. What's going on here? Draw spell, book up here. It does not need the spell. I'm not touching that for now. I'm going to come back later and look at that. Load resources. That's going to return a void. Oops, nope. Trivially inferred. Okay. Oh, look, we're at the end of the file. That's good news. What's our error count right now?
Looking good.
Oh, I changed something to a void and it should have been a number. Okay. What's my other error issue? F8, let's try it. Nothing. No errors.
Go on, buddy. Oh, they're back.
Well, I just clicked on the warnings here.
I suppose. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Empty constructors spellbook is defined but never used. No, that's not true. That's a fake error. No, ignoring that. Unexpected var use letter const. Where's that? This is the font face. There, okay. Yeah, okay, fine. I'll make that camel case for you, kids. Same problem here, I presume. Okay.
Jetsam asks, is Rory washing the dishes? I did wonder whether that sound was coming over the microphone. No, that's just rain hitting the roof of the building I'm in. The universe at large has decided that whilst I do have to go very soon, I'm not going to go without getting, well, rather wet by the look of things.
Oh, no. Draw table road. That looks like it's coming back as a void. Okay. Kind of interesting. I didn't think I'd be spending the day. I did not think I was going to spend the day refactoring today, but it's kind of interesting so far.
I like it.
Yeah, Retro CRT's with us. How you doing, Retro CRT? Glad to have you with us.
Welcome, Retro CRT.
Last Matt's out there too. Last Matt, I'm working on your cup of tea. Just working on a little bit this morning. Did a little bit of that right there. Working on that thing.
Nice.
So we'll see what that. I'm trying to figure out what the font is, what the style and theme of the font is. When well, I know that it's going to be like this thick courier kind of thing.
So not Comic Sans then.
But I'm talking about like, you know, it's not going to be, it doesn't make sense for it to be flaming, right? Like I do with a lot of the folks, you know, or electric. There's something else. I haven't quite figured it out. I don't know yet. Okay. So we look like we have no significant errors. We have a couple more of these. Just look at that. Let's change to that. Spell is defined but never used. Duration string is never assigned. Use a constant on that. Unnecessary escape character. What's that? I don't even, I'm like, what is happening?
That's a literal regular expression, isn't it? When it's within slash characters. So I don't know what's judging that as bad.
Wait, why isn't there a delimiter up here? I don't even understand. Why do I not have a delimiter?
Well, so normally when you put quotes around something, it's a string. This is not a string. This is a compiled regular expression.
What's the / though?
That's the start my regular expression, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Now,
I think
by
I
that
copied
logic,
I think I copied this code somewhere.
Okay.
Is what is because I'm like, wait, what? I don't understand this. I didn't know I could do a regular expression without some kind of quote delimiter on the outside of it. That's stunning to me. So all I have to do is just go like a /.
I believe it even colors the pieces inside it as well. There's like syntax analysis and what have you.
Wow. That's awesome. Star dot whatever. Let's do this. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not getting it.
So the / at the start is the start, and then there's one at the end there with a G. Is that an option? Is that what's Coding Gorilla saying? So my question at that point is, surely there is a need for an escape character because you've got a / within your regular expression. And you need something to say that that's not the end.
If I take this out, what happens?
See, that feels like that ends the regular expression prematurely, unless I've
misunderstood
something.
You think this is supposed to be the end? What's this?
Well,
though?
I think it is now, because there's nothing to tell it that it's just another character. That's what I think the / was for.
All right. Well, I'm gonna keep the problem stuff here. Where am I calling this from? What am I doing on this? Let's jump back out to 100.
Coding Gorilla says it doesn't end because of the open bracket. So the open bracket knows here is a list of characters, individual characters, which should be treated legitimately as characters, and thus the error is correct. We don't need the escaping within that. That's good. Thanks for that, Coding Gorilla.
I'm going to trust our friend Coding. Was it Coding Gorilla out there? Yeah, I'll trust Coding Gorilla. Regex is cool but really scary. I feel like I need to memorize a textbook when I want to learn it. Live coding. Am I seeing string.replace when you are trying to do a regex.replace?
So it's a string replace that takes a regex of things to look for in the string, which it will then replace with the underscore.
That's what Roy says, and I believe that might be right.
So the regex is effectively the search instructions.
Yeah. Again, this I think I found this method out on Stack Overflow, and I was like, cut and paste, copy and paste it.
You know what? I was completely wrong. Coding Gorilla is right again. String is actually the incoming variable we're talking about.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just make it start for now, like that. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit better. Yeah, I was thrown by that too. Anything else in Spellbook I need to worry about? Spell defined, never used. TS ignore. Spell defined, never used. Unexpected empty constructor. Message box is defined, never used. All right, I think that's it. Let's rebuild. This shows up on the back panel. So I'm going to the back overlay. So I'm going to refresh that.
Right, Mark. I'm going to use that compile, that break in coding, and also the break in the weather to make my exit.
All right, buddy. I'll see you on Tuesday.
We'll see you on Tuesday.
All right, thanks, Roy. I really appreciate it. Bye.
No problem.
I thought it was in C# land. Deep shame on my family. Live coding, no. No, there's no shame. There's no shame to being like uninformed. Yeah, Pudding says, come say the day soon, Rory. Okay, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I'm going to do a test of this. I'm going to bring up some spells. Let's do Fireball. And it looks like we haven't broken anything. And I feel like the question of, wait, Mark, are we sure we're using the code you just did? Should we verify that with absolute certainty? And I think we should. Let's see if we can put a, let me get rid of this guy right here. Let's see if we can put some text on the screen somewhere here. So to verify that it's actually coming from here. Create spell page. Where's my title? Put something in the title. Look at title colors. Draw spell title. Fill text, spell name. So I'm just going to throw in a something in here. Like that, maybe, at the beginning of the spell name. Just to double check. Let's do a refresh again. And bring up a spell. All right, cool. So, yep, our code is working, and it looks like we haven't broken anything. So now we've started moving the code out to these two new classes, our word renderer and our word wrapper. So that's good. All right, let's undo this change we just made, and let's take things a step further, because we still are having, even though we have this, I think we still need to move things out, is what I'm suggesting here. In our word renderer, we're not actually ever drawing in the text. And I kind of want to think about doing that. Also, I want to look at the result of this. Get word wrap lines for paragraph. I'm thinking about moving this one out. Yeah, let's move it out. Well, we have also this initialized style delimiters. Is that correct? What's style delimiter? I forget. It's not. That is it. It's an array of layout delimiters. Okay. And then this is going to become that. Initialize style delimiters. Let me just copy this clipboard before I delete that. And then pass it in here. All right. Then this can be static inside the word wrapper. Public static. Get wrap lines for paragraph. All right. I need to, do I have this dot style delimiters? What are my style delimiters? Are we passing this in? What's happening? We're passing it in. Okay. So style delimiters will be there.
Yo-yo-yo bark!
What'd I miss? You've shadowed. You have a shadowed variable that could be confusing. What is my shadowed variable here? I'm not sure what's happening with that. What's my variable that's shadowed? Line 418? Here. Yep. Thank you. Great observation. Okay. Needs a word renderer as well. This one needs style delimiters. And then we need to say this dot word renderer as well. Jump back up here to get word wrap lines for paragraphs and pass that in here. And then this becomes that, the word renderer. We have a few other pieces, parameters over here. They're going off screen. Let me wrap them down to the next line. We have the style delimiters, the bullet indent. Do I have a bullet indent here now? I think I want it here because I think I'm passing it there. I'm passing it in here as well. I'm going to get rid of it there. Create it here. I don't know. We'll set it to 8 or something like that. We're going to say this dot bullet indent because once we set it, we're kind of setting it, I think. Should that shadow variable be of code rush inspection? Yeah, I guess it could be. Let me make a note. Let's go back to it where it was. Yeah, we don't have any inspectors yet for TypeScript and JavaScript yet. So yeah, not doing this in. It is a linter error though. Okay, I didn't see it as an error though when we were looking at it. Okay, so this is going to become bullet indent. I want to correct the call to get word wrap lines. Now it doesn't actually need it anymore. And where's the other call to get word wrap lines? Here. We don't need bullet indent there anymore. But when we create our word wrapper, we want to say this dot word wrapper dot bullet indent equals that. Okay, get word wrap lines. That looks like that's correct as well. Okay, back up. And spell here. I'm noticing a number of drawing pieces I want to move away. Word wrap lines for paragraphs. I wanted to follow up on this. Do I have everything I need? That looks good. It's only that one call. No errors here. Let me just save it and refresh. And I'm going to copy this refresh button here, bring it on a page that I'll be working with more so I don't have to keep flipping back between pages. Paste it right down here. And now I hit the refresh button, and then now I'm going to bring it to spell. That looks good. That looks good. So one issue. This is an interesting issue. So here I've got 2 paragraphs with no space between them. That's on Lightning Lure. I wonder if, let's load up the spell data. I wonder if that's as simple as making a change in the spell data. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of hitting enter right out here. Control enter, actually. I think that'll fix it. Where's my data here? Should be able to go to the spells page. Don't have a reload spells button. There it is right there. And let's go back to Lightning Lure. No, I don't see it. Did the reload spells button not work? I also have a reload everything. Are we? Yeah, we're in control. All right. Well, I'm going to say the essence is that we haven't broken it. Everything's still working, and I'm going to stay focused on that for right now. Let's get rid of that guy. We'll have some lightning lure effects spinning around me while we code till we refresh front and back overlays. Okay. All right, so now I want to move some of the rendering pieces across just because I'm now, even though I think I have enough of what I need to start working, at least getting started in grabbing the text and being able to word wrap the text inside of the our message box. I want to excuse me. I want to look and find more of the rendering code and move it up into this function, word renderer. That's what I want to do. So I think I'm just going to page down through it and just kind of code review my way down through this to at least start getting, part of the way there. Draw spell title, that's super local. Get spell level. Draw spell level school. Yeah, that's all super local. Get school casting string. Draw spell description. Okay. This is the baby we want to move right here. Also draw table row, we want to do that too. We need a coder's feature request so we can put the images in there. Wait, imagines in there? You're kidding, Coding Gorilla, because of the images versus the images. Yeah, Mystic Soda. Yeah, we do have them in here. It's super easy to add them in. You just do that. Grab your image, whatever it's going to be. I kind of want to copy this a little more, but here, I'll grab this one. This is a separate one. So you just copy that to the clipboard. Then you come in here and you paste it in. And then that's as simple as it gets, right? You can resize it. Let me hold the shift key down while I do that so it keeps its scale. There we go. There's my cup of tea right there. It's kind of cool what you can do. I use it mostly for things that are hard to visualize. And up near the top, where I'm using them here, I'm basically saying, here's the different things, like the School of Magic indent. It's this space right here. School of Magic aberration height, right? So I'm kind of working through some of these different things. Yeah, cup of tea. Yep. Yep. Okay, so let's undo. There we go. So basically we're looking at draw table row and draw spell description. So I think what I want to do here is say, I kind of want to extract here, I think, to here. That's what I want to do. Hopefully I'll get an extract method option here when I hit the key to bring it up. Nothing, no option, control dot. I've seen that when I've got like a for loop with an exit. Do I have any exits in here? I don't see any returns. Did I get the selection wrong? Oh, here it is. Wow, it just took forever to show up. Holy cow. Wow, I'm glad I didn't abort that. I don't actually need Y out of here. I'm not doing anything with Y on the way out of it. So we're going to call this render paragraphs, like that. And I think the description paragraphs is going to be a parameter to it now. And what's the type of description paragraphs? Paragraph wrap data. And now we're going to do this here instead. Actually, before I do that, I want to see if I have any more inside of here. Nope, that's the only one. So arguably, we could go to the line data instead, pass that in. It's an array of line wrap data. Okay. I like too that we had this asymmetry before where this was constant, this was a let because we were changing the Y, and now we don't have that anymore. Whoops, I got this in the wrong order. Okay. I got my detail font size coming in. I got my style delimiters. Emphasis font style ascender. Ooh, that's an interesting thing we'll have to work on. And the detail font size again. Well, if we run this, if we put this up into the word renderer, which I'm about to do, we're going to get I think we're going to get access to a number of these things that we don't have. The detail font size should be there. Those things should all be there. So let's go into the word renderer. And let's add that. Mr. Soda says, design patterns. What's your favorite design pattern? Symmetrical code is good code. I totally agree. I want the source of that image right now. Hold on. The source of this cup of tea image, that is, well, I missed your text. I missed your chat message from before. But if you just do this and you go to image search, it's one of those first two. It's this one right here. There it is. All right, there you go, Mystic Soda. You are welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, kind of fun. That's going to be the foundation for Lasamat's fanfare. So, just kind of working on that, trying to make that all work out well. Okay, we were doing this. So now, okay. Cool. I like the draw bullet is now needed up here. This .word renderer is now just us. So this is also cool, right? Anything where we see in here, this .word renderer, we're like, we're simplifying this code. Another sign that we're going in the right direction, right? Much better, much better. Okay. Yeah, today should have been called Mark's refactoring adventure in TypeScript. We need draw table row. That was close by. We were going to do that anyway. So let's work our way back to that. Draw table row. And wait, what's my problem here? Private. Let's fix that real quickly. Design patterns, internal sealed class cup of tea where T is a descendant of T. Lasamet is in the house. Probably factor observer because of the flexibility they give you and somewhat more functional programming oriented code. Yeah, I would say my answer to what's my favorite is the one that actually totally solves the problem that you need in the moment. Because when I was doing the design pattern show, it was like we were getting strong benefits. Well, I'll tell you, composite design pattern is excellent if you need behavior that composite design pattern yields, right? Being able to treat a folder the same as a file. In other words, I can rename it, I can delete it, that sort of thing. I can copy it. Is the group and the nodes of the group. It allows you to implement nested grouping, for example, which is a feature a lot of major apps still don't implement, right? When I say major apps, I mean, it's a company's bread and butter, and they don't allow you to group in, the data that they give you. Mark's answer is the correct answer, of course. I only know solid. It's interesting. I actually started programming before the Design Patterns book came out. And then I remember later people were talking about injection, and I was like, wait, what is this? And I was like, oh, I've been doing this forever, but I never called it, injection. I'm forgetting the second word. There's a second word with that, I think. But it's essentially the indicated decoupled way of going in and saying, here's now your implementer of this particular engine or interface. I want to call it decoupled injection, but I know that's not it. But anyway, that all came out, and I was like, I'm still coding, guys. I don't need to learn that because I've been doing that already. Let's see, one better. The command pattern because undo is God. Yeah, we implemented the command design pattern and implemented full undo and redo stack, and it was so cool when we implemented on this show. So our design patterns, we were talking about the older shows. We looks like I don't have that up here anymore. Roy put out a link. Not sure if I can find that or not. Here it is, I think. Just throw this out. So these are all the videos from the show. I was there when Mark added command pattern, or just before or after. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I think that's true. Can we search just this page? Rawr. No? Did we call this? Let's see. Design. And is it? Oh, you know what? They're not all loaded. Maybe I have to kind of scroll down and load them all up to get back. I think we're somewhere in this space here. Let's see if I can find it now here. Design patterns. No? How are you doing, Jay? Are you okay? Here you go. Yeah, I'm having a good show. How are you doing? Having a good day? Okay, cool. Finalizing undo redo with the command design pattern. That's part 4, I think. But there was some real, we took an app that was kind of like, you know, not really sophisticated and turned it into something really sophisticated in about a week or two, I think. In about a week or two worth of shows, we went through about 3 or 4 different design patterns, implemented them, saw the benefits, and they were really tangible benefits. Yeah, just some, oh, sorry, she left. I can't say hello anymore, but yeah. Okay, draw table row. I think that's the next thing I want to bring in here. Anything else in here before I go here? Underline offset, we'll have to fix that. Spellbook. Any reference to spellbook we need to get rid of as well. Style delimiters, where's my style delimiters? We're passing that in, I think, aren't we? Okay, so we need to style delimiters passed in. Let's fix that. Uh-oh, word wrapper. Oh, okay. And we need a wrapper. No, we don't. This is a static function. We just need to pass in our style delimiters. Render paragraphs. No style delimiter? I thought we had our style delimiters here. Let's go figure it out. Where are they? Are they inside of... We're passing them in. We're passing them in. It's static. That's why I'm just not seeing it. Okay. All right. All right, so we need to style delimiters here. I want to copy this whole thing. Render, and then that. Okay, it's only called from this one location. Draw table row. I think I'm taking that next. Yeah, Jay, what? To edit videos? On the iPhone? It's called Adobe Premiere. Is what it's called. And I got draw bullet right next to it. Let's grab them both. Okay, coming up here, put those here and here. See what errors we get bringing this in. Detail font size. It's right there. Table line color. I may want to pass that in. No, I'm going to make it a this on here. So we're going to do this. I'm going to make it something like that. Coding Gorilla says, well, actually, let's roll back just a little bit. I only know one pattern junctor. Everything goes in. So screech rat. I slowly learned some design patterns, but I've been coding for about a year now, and there's so many. Mystic Soda says, last minute, you don't need to learn all of them as long as you learn the patterns that you need and know that there are others to consider, you're fine. I think actually learning design patterns is best done one at a time. You kind of study one of the patterns, you understand the value it brings, and then you move to, and then you use it. Coding Gorilla says, my problem with patterns is that people tend to try to shoehorn everything into one pattern or another. I think that's true, especially when you're learning something new, especially when your awareness of the field of your domain, what you're working in, either the programming language and or the problem you're trying to solve, the problem space you're trying to solve. If that awareness is not wide, if it's new, like you're a new programmer, I think that's absolutely true. Coding Gorilla is that people tend to try to solve that. I think solve problems, I've got a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? Well, we could use the hammer to climb up the ladder or something like that, right? So I think that's the case. I think that it's important when you're teaching people new skills that every new skill is taught in conjunction with teaching every new skill. You also teach the criteria for judging whether or not you're going to use the hammer, right? So we say, here's a hammer. Look, you can hammer in nails with it. Here's when you want to use a hammer, right? And if you have other situations, then there might be another tool. Like if you want to take one piece of wood and turn it into two, there might be another tool. Like I can show you a saw for that. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Coding Gorilla. I think anytime you learn something new, jumping all over that is probably not a great idea, right? It's like let's understand it and try to really get to know it and ask yourself, is it going to solve the problem, or is there something else out there? Last man says, Mystic Soda, yeah, but need to learn which exist and when to use them first. I got solid down so far and I see the benefit, but no idea which ones to check next. Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely fair, Last Matt, right? It's like, well, if you don't know it, this is a good thing of working in a team. Sometimes a team member can say, oh, let's do this. And then that's your clue as far as what to look at. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know, zero patterns then. And I'll also say though, look, the patterns that we explored are very specific patterns for solving very specific problems. And we had those problems, right? They're probably like between like 40 and 200 documented design patterns for coding. And we use 3 on this show. And most of the time we don't really, we're like, we're running through, we are on this show, we're actually trying to, our number 1 goal is to get something working. Number 2 goal is to make it so it's easy to write client code against that working engine. So we're simplifying, like we're looking at it from that perspective and simplifying. And a lot of times I don't think we're really implementing design patterns necessarily in that state, right? Design patterns are often like, you want this feature, you want this functionality. This is one of the best ways to achieve that functionality. Law of the instrument is a big problem in coding. What is law of the instrument? I don't know what that is. Let's go look that up. Oh, the golden hammer. Yeah, it's the golden hammer. Everything looks like a nail, right? Cognitive bias that involves an over-reliance on a familiar tool. Absolutely. This is what happens. It's absolutely the problem. So But the thing is I think this is really a reflection of the way we're teaching. And if you have, like, for example, if you have control over the team, if you're a team leader, this is not really a big deal, because you can enforce, right? You can simply say, it's easy to say not everything is a nail. And if you're a new user, if you're a new developer and everything looks like a nail to you, it's like kind of an embarrassing awareness when you realize, oops, everybody sees that in me and I haven't, and I think it's an easy thing to fix, because it's like when you realize, oops, I've kind of made a mistake and everybody else can see it, but I can't, you immediately change your perspective on it. So it's not an expensive problem to fix, and it's a relatively easy problem to identify, especially if you've got, pair programming, if you're talking about how you're going to implement something, or if you have code reviews. So I guess with a small amount of leadership, you can totally solve the problem on a team. I think this problem. So, but if you got folks out in the wild, whatever, that are not part of the team, or and they're, yes, we can have a lot of problems caused by this, because the team is, in essence, I think, solves this problem. If you have people on the team that can come in with some wisdom, they solve this problem pretty quickly. Those are my thoughts on that. A lot of times there's that skill preference for anything newly learned. Yeah, of course. I've used a screwdriver, wrench, flashlight, and hammer in the past, Mr. Smokey. Well, look, I've MacGyvered the heck out of things all over the place. My wife broke her coffee press, her French press. She likes it. It was a glass French press and it was broken. For like about a week, I was MacGyvering her coffee using a cup that happened to be about the same size as the French press, and just changing the ratio of coffee to water, because we were not getting as much pressed out of it. So yeah, I'm also doing that, Smoothie, all the time. These are design patterns. Yep, these are still the same ones, essentially. Gradational, structural, behavioral. This is new, but when the book first came out, it was divided into those groups right there, those first three. The Gang of Four, right here. This one is like the kind of foundational changing book on this. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah. So definitely something to look at there if that's not something you know about. And like I say, a lot of these design patterns apply to like larger, bigger, more fully functional apps, and less to like tools. So if you're just building small tools and things like that, it's generally not a big deal. But if you're creating a large application, right, or you have a large user base, then yeah, knowing the design patterns, I think, is a definitely good idea. Oh no, there's more. The phenomenon is called Bader-Meinhof, foreseeing the solution you just learned. Interesting. Yeah, only use what makes sense and fits. Law of the instrument. If all you have is hammer, everything's in nails. It's a rite of passage to programming. We all go through it. Yeah, I don't know. I think, like I say, I think you can stop this desire fast, right? If you're in a and get somebody to think about it, right? If you're thinking everything's a nail and somebody says not everything's a nail, that's an easy concept to get. I'm one of those out in the wild. That's why I come here and ask some super smart questions. Well, good job, Lassamat, asking those great questions. What's a design pattern says pudding? And great resource there. Yeah. So I think we've answered all those questions. Great discussion, kids, out there in the chat room.
The chat room is on fire!
It's on fire. because you guys are so awesome.
They're awesome.
This one, by the way, is really funny. They're awesome switches to, it's, when I rendered the video on it, it's, this one's normal, but watch the they're awesome.
They're awesome.
I forgot to get away one of my backgrounds when I rendered it, so we just switched to that bit of code from like years ago, I think. All right. What's my time? Let's go for a little bit more, and then we'll, I think we'll get out of here. Draw table row. Let's get it so it compiles and still drawing tables correctly. Okay. I got these spellbook pieces. Detail font size. Pretty sure that's here now. Is that right? Yep. Detail font size. Where else do I have spellbook? This dot underline offset. So we're going to have to work on that. And emphasis, font, style, ascender. We're going to need to bring this in here as well. So I'm going to create a this on this guy right here. And what is, I'm guessing it's a 1, but let's see. Let's search for it. It's 19. That's blowing my mind. It's that high. Maybe I don't understand. I must not understand what it is used for. Let's go down to our initialize word wrappers. Okay, so we're now just set that. Let me change this to 19. Not sure what is going on in word top plus the font style, ascender, underline offset. Uh-oh, where's my underline offset coming from? Whoops, go back. Oh, we have a different rendering. We discovered different levels of rendering for text and underlines based on what browser was up. That's what this is about here. So the underline offset is different. Okay. So that's in my constructor that's set. So that means down here, I'm going to grab my just this dot underline offset. Okay. All right. And based on that, it was one of these two. Let's do this. Let's say, interesting. I'm only using this here. I am going to get rid of that. Get rid of this. And I think I'm going to come up here. Oops. Hold on. Where did I get that? Shoot. Was it passed in as a parameter? It's in the constructor to the spell book. Okay. Let's do that. Pass it in there. Pass it there. Pass it here. Pass it there. Okay. I'm going to grab these because I'm pretty sure I'm only using these two here. Those two right there. Sven 2025 is following. Thanks for that follow, Sven. Glad to have you with us. Okay. Looks like we're missing a couple other things we need to go get. Code's getting better. All right. We need our calculated font Y offset. So now in our constructor, we say whether the browser is OBS or whether it's Chrome. And based on that, we use these options. And then we set these values accordingly. Okay. All right. So now that's our constructor. We've set that. Let's go back into draw. What else do we have here? Draw bullet. I'm going to need a bullet color. All right, bullet color. Let's go find bullet color. Okay, there's my bullet color. Let's get to my this piece right here, and we're going to put bullet color there. I think this is in Spellbook here locally. Good. So this is looking and feeling better so far, right? If you look at just the code here, we're creating a new word renderer, and then you're seeing, okay, here are the different pieces we're adding to it. I'm going to rename this to be body, or just font name and font size. I'll probably rename that. But you can also see we're specifying the bullet color inside of that as well. Let's keep going. What else do we got to look at here? Here's my draw table. Okay. Draw table looks good. Okay, what do we have here? This is going to be my this.detail font size. This.detail font size. Coding. My bullet indent. Gonna have to do that. It's not there. Bullet indent. Let's go figure out bullet indent. Oh, it's in word wrapper. Okay, if it's already in word wrapper. Well, let's see, actually, hold on. I have the renderer that I'm passing in, I'm pretty sure. Word renderer. I'm going to go to word renderer and get the bullet indent there. Word wrapper and word renderer. I don't hate it, but I think it's a little strange. All right, we'll see what we can do. I'm a little bit with you on that. Design patterns. And it could be that we put it all in one thing too, but I was I wanted to have the wrapping be independent of the drawing and the painting. Is kind of what I wanted to do. So now we're going to grab bullet indent from the renderer. I'm going to default that to 8, just like we have over there. And we need to go down to, what is it? Initialize word wrappers, word wrap helpers. This is now going to come down and be part of this right here. Okay, got a bullet indent, a bullet color. Okay. Yeah, it could be we can consolidate the classes. It could be that we end up doing that. It was just intuition that brought me down this split path at the beginning, and but I'm not at all like committed and strongly, all over it right now. So this is, do we have? So draw bullet is going to need the bullet indent. Wait, what class are we in? We're in the word renderer. I thought I put it in here. Oh, I just had it spelled wrong? I see. Okay. All right. Good. Spelled wrong, or spelled correctly, but the case was wrong. Okay, what else? Is this detail font size? This needs to become this dot detail font size. All right, let's look for spellbook. Good. So the first hit on spellbook is when the class is occurring. So we don't have any more static variables there. I think we might be okay. Let's see what our error list is here. Yeah, no errors, a bunch of warnings, some spellbook stuff here. Assignment never used. No. All these are good. Okay, warnings. Let's refresh. I'm going to refresh the front overlay as well. All right. All right, that looks good.
+7.
That was weird. I got a miss and I heard +7. I'm going to document that. Got a miss and heard +7. Okay. All right. How are we doing? Are we done with the refactoring on this? I kind of feel like we might be. We have Design Pattern says got to head out in a few minutes. Zulix is like, how's everybody today? I think we're good. I think we are good. Welcome. Surly Flowers. You gonna plant some flowers, Surly Deb? I want to look at your question, Design Patterns, about word wrapping and word renderer. Let's kind of look at that and see if it really justifies having two different classes out here. We should also test tables to make sure tables are being drawn correctly. Word renderer, got the style, drawing the row, that makes sense, drawing the bullet, rendering paragraphs. Get word wrap lines. Yeah, I feel like we're justified on this. I feel like we are. That's what I think. All right, let's see if we can use it and actually wrap it in the message box. What time is it actually? I don't know. I guess my question was who uses which? Well, let's look at the usage of them. That's actually a great question because we need that anyway. So let's look at word wrapper. We basically have these two pieces here, word renderer and word wrapper. As we're going through, we are setting this, and then we're using it to set the context based on whether we're going to be bolding text or not, because the width of the bold text is wider generally than the width of the unbolded text. So we're just using this as a shortcut to set some properties on context. Then we're calling context.measureText. Draw spellable school. We're still using it to set the fonts. Changing active style. Then we're calling render paragraphs on it. So this is the big kind of deal here. This is where it's going to wrap out those paragraphs for us. Let's keep going. And everything else is we're just using this to change the font easily and quickly to match our style that we've set up. Yeah, all these are set detail font calls. Okay, and we've gone all the way around. Now let's look at the word wrapper. We use it to get the word wrap lines and to get the word wrap lines for paragraphs, and that's it. So we're using it in two different places here. Get wrapped sub detail lines. Oh, I know what this is for. This is for when a spell comes out. Let's see if we can show it here. It's when the detail, like there it says duration, when that detail changes. Let me drop down the let me drop Miles's guy down a second, and I want to go to the main app, and I'm just going to go through these till I see one that gives me an example of that. It's going to be faster actually if we jump to our spells, which is right here, and we look for duration. We look for something really long. That's not really long. Because the word concentration is taken out, it's parsed out of it. I'm looking for something that doesn't say concentration on, but that looks like kind of a depends on the situation answer. You know what? I think we're not. There's only one of these. Let me see if I can find it. Until dispelled or triggered. Symbol. Let's go find symbol. Wasn't long enough, but the cool thing is if you look right above components, there you can see what's going on. We're wrapping and indented right there. So we've got the word, starting with the word Mercury up at the top right there. That's what's going on there. So that call that we were looking at back there in the code, get wrapped sub detail lines, that's for that situation. I think all you see that it does differently is for the available width, it subtracts the casting subdetail indent from it. That's what's going on there. Okay, and then that's it. We're just, I think that's it, right? Get word wrap lines for paragraphs, and that's it. So yeah, I feel pretty good about that. We do need to pass the renderer in, so it's a little bit of this tight coupling, but it's not bad. So you're probably wondering, how how are things going with the GPU, and that's how they're going. Oops, sorry, Surly. I just swatted you. Sorry. You flew right by me, Surly. I'm hitting the SWAT button if you get close. Word wrapper uses a word render. Makes sense. All right, so yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. I think we're okay with that architecture. I think it's not bad. So now what I want to do is I want to see if I can use this in another space, right? So I want to look at the initialization that we're doing here. And I will say, though, that our defaults are not bad, right? We're setting all of these for the renderer, but we really just need these two. We're going to do the rename now that everything's working. This is going to become, sorry, I jumped to the wrong page. This is going to become font name, and this is going to become font size. That's pretty good. There was also another piece that is related to this. It's this. I'm going to throw this inside of here too. It says word wrap helpers. So this is kind of cool too. It allows us to send over like bolded text if we wanted to wrap. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm just going to copy this initialization here. Let's go over to our message box, which is right here. And let's see if we can get this to work. And I'm actually thinking this is going to maybe take more time than I want to devote today, and I think I might push it to tomorrow, since yesterday I had a pretty long show. Let's just get close. Yeah, I think I'm going to end it. I'm going to end it here. So what I'm going to do, let's at least get the where we're working on the title. Calculate title font. I'm going to just paste this in with a big comment here for tomorrow's show. Calculate title font, and then we're going to say to do add word wrapping to the message box title. I'm not going to word wrap the answers because those tend to be short anyway. Design Pattern says, gotta go. All right, check in later on the video, see how it came out. We'll probably have rated you by now. By then, add word wrapping to the message box title. Okay. All right, that's going to be our show, kids. Thanks so much. I appreciate everybody hanging out and being with us today. Let's get a raid going here. Who's out there? I'll throw you to Oh Bother. I like the hardware stuff he does over there. Get that going. Thanks, Smoopy. See you kids. Coding Gorilla, Surly Dev, Screech Rat, Last Matt. Really appreciate everybody hanging out today, helping out, and the discussion about design patterns. Flave Creations, Grovosaurus. Saddest Kitty is out there. Oh no. This guy funks. All right, kids. Zulix. We'll see you, kids. Have a good one.